Well, in our previous sessions, we have discussed about the biotic and abiotic components of our atmosphere. Just making a recapitulation of what we have done, biotic components comprises of all the living parts of our ecosystem, whereas the abiotic components comprise of all the non-living entities. Now, today we shall discuss about some of the very important cycles that is prevailing in our atmosphere or in our nature as a whole, important for our livelihood. These cycles are called biogeochemical cycles. Why it is called biogeochemicals? Let us see to it. Bio, as I have already told you, bio has come from the word bios, which means life. That is, we all living organisms, starting from the smallest microorganisms to that of the largest human beings and the elephants and even the blue whale, entire life system can be coming under bios. Geo, the word geo has come from earth, geology, that is the study of earth and its surface. So biogeo means life on earth, and chemical is definitely what we have seen in our day-to-day life, that is from chemistry, that is the chemical transformations of the various components. So making in a nutshell, that is the interaction of non-living abiotic components with living biotic components with respect to the life, earth and chemical nature of our surrounding. We have this biogeochemical cycles. These cycles make the process of our atmosphere totally dynamic, means every moment of the time we are having constant movement. How we are having constant movement? Water is getting evaporated, it is becoming clouds, again condensing. Say for example, if I take about nitrogen, it is being fixed by some bacteria, then again transformed to ammonia and so on. These things we will discuss in this chapter. Now coming to the first most important biogeochemical cycle, that is the water cycle. This water cycle is imperative in our nature. Why so? Because this water cycle, being dynamic, stabilizes the amount of water that is present in our surrounding. Now let us look into this wonderful venture of water, from the journey of water as a tiny water droplet to being a rain drop and then again coming back to its own natural habitat. Let us look into it. This is the sun. As we have discussed prior to our many topics, that sun is the source of the solar energy. All irradiations from sun is the same source for our energy. Now mark these arrows please. These dotted arrows are meant for the solar radiations that is coming from the sun to the landforms. And these dotted radiations are meant for the same solar radiation but coming to the water body. So say this solar radiation coming to the water body heats the surface of water. Upon heating, which is a very normal phenomenon of water, you have learnt in chapter 1 that the water will start to evaporate. I have marked evaporation by these two arrows. Water will start to evaporate. So liquid water, when changes to gaseous form, it is called as water vapor. We already know this. So upon evaporation, the liquid water droplets has turned to gaseous water vapor. Is it clear now? So this water vapor is rising up. This arrow marks the rising of water vapor. Along with this water vapor, say this is an animal and say this is a plant present on the surface of the land. So these plant, by the process of transpiration, which I have already learnt in the chapter of tissues, that transpiration is the loss of water from the surface of leaves. Again I repeat for you, transpiration is the loss of water as water vapor from the surface of leaf through the poles called stomata. We know this. So water vapor is lost through plants by means of transpiration, and animal also release gaseous water vapor through respiration. So upon these two, so transpiration and respiration, these two activities, and this evaporation of water as water vapor from sun, these three things combine together to form the clouds. We all enjoy the white clouds in the wonderful blue sky. It gives a panoramic vision. So these clouds are the processed form of three things together. One is respiration from animals, transpiration from plants, and evaporation from the water as water vapor. It is clear now? So now water from liquid state has turned to gaseous state. One step of water cycle is over. After it has turned to be a cloud that is in its gaseous state, now it gains more and more amount of water vapor. More and more amount of accumulation of water vapor makes the cloud bulkier. It becomes very heavy. When its highest capacity of containing vapor is exceeded, I repeat again for you, when the cloud has no more capacity to retain more amount of water vapor, it starts to condense. Recall what you have learned in chapter 1. Condensation is the process of conversion of gaseous water to liquid water. Here it will be conversion of water vapor to liquid water droplet. So I have again marked transpiration by this arrow and have made right rainfall or snow. So when the cloud with its utmost amount of water vapor is filled up, it condenses because the temperature is very low over there. So the low temperature induces the process of condensation and water comes in the form of rain, and in more low temperature water comes in form of snow to again back to the parent where it started its journey. But there is a big but over here which you have to keep in your mind, that upon coming to the lower portion from where it started its journey, all the water vapor do not return back to this again the sea. Some water is falling on the land and is absorbed, see I have written as groundwater. They are absorbed as groundwater. We have learnt in the water part of this chapter that groundwater is the purest form of water. Why so? Because it is stored inside the layer of soil. So this groundwater also accumulates upon the rainfall, and this arrow I have shown to mark that they again go back to the sea. So groundwater also adds up to the level of sea, but not directly to the sea. So repeating the entire cycle in a nutshell, this is a water source, evaporation is occurring due to solar energy, the liquid water is turning to water vapor, the water vapor along with the water coming from plants to transpiration and from animals to respiration combines to form the clouds. The clouds easily flow on the surface of our sky. After the formation of cloud, when the cloud's excess amount of capacity is over, then it starts to precipitate and the process is called condensation. The precipitation occurs by two forms, either by rain or by snow. Snow when the temperature is very low. And in this way again from the sky it returns back to the ground. But 90% of the water goes back to the sea, but a very little amount retains to the ground as groundwater. This groundwater again makes a channel through its own path and reaches to the sea. And this groundwater is considered to be very pure, and we have learned in the previous sections of this chapter that excess use of fertilizers disturbs the pollution level of the groundwater, and definitely it will indirectly also affect the seawater. This is all about the water cycle.